You are not me. You are not me. But if you were, you'd wake up every morning at 3 a.m. sweating. Your stomach would be tied up in knots, and you'd wonder what it is you're panicking about. You'd look so terrible, your friend would slip you some of her prescription sleeping pills. You'd try not to take them, but about once a week you'd give in. You'd take 2 with a little glass of vodka and sleep for 15 hours straight. And here's why. It is 3 weeks ago, I'm sitting at a table with Bitsy and her husband John in one of those fusion restaurants, the kind where they serve fried chicken with wasabi in the batter and sushi with barbecue sauce. I'm a struggling journalist who would never waste money on a place like this, but they are intriguing. Bitsy has, as my mother would say, done well for herself in the marriage department. Our dinner comes. Mine involves a huge tower of fried rice noodles, artfully sculpted to resemble a tall white pagoda. I make a stupid comment about how its generous size resembles one of my former boyfriend's most distinctive features. That's when John looks at me strangely. He says, speaking of which what? Bitsy and John glance back and forth in this smugly worried manner they tend to adopt around me. I don't know if we should tell her. Tell me what? What? It's about Max, Bitsy said. These particular friends are not the loyal sort, so Max still sees Bitsy and John all the time. It's been more than a year and a half, and I still am not over him. Hearing his name makes me see green and red spots. What about Max, I say. I try to be casual, but the question comes out loud and squeaky. Just then the waitress arrives. Bitsy wants to send something back. It has too much pork, too little sauce. Another waiter comes over. I watch in mock concern, as if all I care about is the pork problem, but really all I want to do is strangle Bitsy. Finally, the details are worked out. Bitsy looks over. What were we talking about? Max. Oh, sorry, she says. Max has a new girlfriend. Okay, I knew this would happen. I knew that someday a Chinese girl, John says. A Chinese girl? From China? From China, he says. John and Bitsy instinctively lean in together. They stare at me over their cocktails, waiting for me to explode. China? As in China? John bursts out laughing. Bitsy cocks her pretty blonde head and looks at me. I'd expected hatred. I expected to feel nauseated from the sheer spite. Now all I feel is, China? Of course I pictured Max with other girls before. I painted the picture the moment we broke up. The girls who get to touch him down my head are waspy, rose-cheeked girls named Persephone and Gwyn, who can carry on a witty conversation while whipping up a 17-layered cake. A Chinese girl is different. She's like an alien from outer space. She's small, Bitsy says. She has an accent. Is she? I don't know what to ask. I picture a kimono. No, that's Japan. China has dragons and the Red Army and child geniuses. I bet she's a genius. A Chinese genius girlfriend. She's really cute, says Bitsy. She owns a shoe store. It's no big deal. It's yellow fever. Asian fetish. Bitsy and John are racist assholes. I nod and encourage them to say worse things than they do about good laundry and lotus feet. They make even bigger asses than themselves by pulling their blue eyes into slits and yelling, "No more Yankee, my wanky, ha ha." Their faces turn red and they spurt liquor through their noses. It's disgusting. It makes me feel better. Not that you care, right? Bitsy says, finally sobering for a moment. I mean, you're so over him. So over him, I say, taking a sip of one of their drinks. My hand is shaking and I miss my mouth. Sticky pink liquid dribbles onto my cleavage. Bitsy and John kindly ignore the slip. They are, it seems, merciful to non-Chinese people like me. And I feel all right, I really do. Better than I ever expected. I don't even get that sick feeling, or at least not until the end of the meal, when the waitress brings a silver tray with 3 gourmet fortune cookies, a cruel punchline to a stupid, stupid joke. That night, I dream of elfin women with sesame brown bodies and blackbird wing hair. I wake up bloated from last night's MSG fest. My head swims with 8-hour-old Mai Tai liquor. The phone rings, it's Bitsy. She wants to make sure I'm all right. Do I want to go shopping today? I don't. I have no money. I don't want to see rich and perfect Bitsy twice in 24 hours. I'll be fine, I tell her. I'll just do some work at home, thanks. Remember the fact that you're both moving on is a good thing, she said before she hangs up. We love Max, but he was not the one. Of course, I say, but I'm already pulling down a box of old pictures from the closet. I stare at them for a while, and then get up, walking from wall to wall. He loved me in this corner. He had me on this chair. Shit. I've got to get out of here. I pull out some jeans and a Parker and go outside. I've got to get some air. It's 34 degrees and sleeting slightly, but there's still air out here, and I breathe it in along with a little pot I happen to have in the pipe in my coat pocket. I sort of notice that I might be in Max's neighborhood, but it's a big city. I probably won't even notice if I sit on a bench, keep my eyes open, but he does not appear. Probably because he's in bed with his new Chinese girlfriend. I realize I am being a bit of a stalker. A stoned one even. I take the bus home, but I have only 70 cents. I walk back, hike up the 5 flights, and put the box of photos away. You know what's funny? Oh, there you are, time lady. You know what's funny? My mother knew he would leave me from the start. I hated her for saying it. I ignored her. What did she know? He was such a fun person. We did so many fun things together. There was that time he took me to dog training school just because I said I loved puppies. I couldn't have one in my apartment. It was too small, but he took me there just to pet them. And the sex. Should I go there? I only have a minute. Okay. Oh, Jesus. I never had sex like that before. The kind of sex where I'd walk in the door and he'd close it and push me up against the wall. He told me my skin was alabaster and my legs were delicious. And even when he was flipping me down toward the bottom of the bed and covering me with his body, I was regretting it because it was so good, so sweet that I sensed, no, I knew that I would never be able to be with anyone else, ever, without thinking of him. Unfortunately for me, it seems that I was right. I think I'll stop there. Thank you very much.